Hi everyone, today I will discuss to you the ethical standard in writing related literature. But first, do you have a background knowledge about ethics or ethical standard? If you say no, we will discuss some of it before we proceed to our main topic. Ethical standards in writing related literature. Ethical concerns affect research. The term ethics refers to questions right and wrong. When researchers think about ethics, the question, is it right to conduct a particular study or carry out certain procedure must be considered. Jack Frankel and Norman Wallen of 2010 give a few examples of unethical practice related to research. One of the examples is to require a group of high school sophomores to sign a form in which they agree to participate in a research study. You also need to ask first graders sensitive questions without obtaining the consent of their parents to question them. And lastly, deletes data he or she collects that do not support his or her hypothesis. Ethics and research. There are a number of ethical principles that should be taken into account when doing a senior high school research or an undergraduate thesis. At this core, these ethical principles stress the need to do well and do no harm. In practice, these ethical principles means that as a researcher you need to obtain informed consent from research participants, minimize the risk of harm to participants, protect their confidentiality and avoid using deceptive practices and give participants the right to withdraw from your research. Why is there a need for ethics? These are some of the reasons. Norms promote the aims of research such as knowledge, truth, and avoidance of error. Norms promote the values that are essential to collaborative work such as trust, accountability, mutual respect, and fairness. They also protect intellectual property interests and encourage confidentiality even in collaboration. Norms ensure researchers can be held accountable to the public. To a certain extent, they draw parameters within which what ideas to write and how they should be written. Norms promote a variety of other important moral and social values. Ethical lapses in research can significantly harm human and animal subjects, students, and the public. Norms help to build public support for research. This happens when individuals and organizations believe in the integrity and credibility of the researcher or researchers. They offer funding for the projects. Definition of terms. These terms related to the subject on ethical standards in writing a literature review will contribute further to its understanding and importance. First, is ethical relativism. It refers to the view that values are relative in the sense that a person feels his or her value is better than any other person's value. Second, is ethical principles. The term refers to values that are translated into rules or standard of conduct. Third, is ethical dilemma. It entails a situation where there is a felt conflict between values or principles and a choice of action needs to be decided. Resnick of 2015 has spelled out some rules in observing ethical standards in review of literature in research. They are as follows. Report your findings with complete honesty. Do not misrepresent, mislead, and/or intentionally misinterpret. Give appropriate credit when using people's work. Avoid plagiarism by fully acknowledging all contents belonging to others. To underscore plagiarism, remember this. If you quote or paraphrase another author's work without including a reference to it, you are plagiarizing. The American Psychological Association, or APA, was one of the professional organizations to develop ethical guidelines for research. The ethical principles are guides for minimizing risks to participants' risks, such as making participants uncomfortable or the researchers probing into personal areas of participation. In view of this, researchers may not continue to gather data until they have gotten the consent of the participants. It means that they should be provided with enough information about the study so they can make informed decisions about their participation. The ethical checks to make before beginning the study. The checklist aims to lead you, the researcher, towards the observance of ethical standards. 1. Is the proposed research sufficiently well designed to be of informational value? 2. Does the research pose any risks to participants such as physical or psychological harm by such means as the use of deception, obtaining sensitive, personal information, or using minors or others who cannot readily give consent as participants. 3. If risks are placed on participants, does the research adequately control those risks by including such procedures as debriefing, removing or reducing risks of physical harm, guaranteeing through the procedures that all information will be obtained anonymously, or if that is not possible, guaranteeing that it will remain confidential, and providing special safeguards for minors and participants who may have impairments? 4. Have I included a provision for obtaining informed consent from every participant, or, if participants cannot give it, from responsible people acting for the benefit of the participant? Will sufficient information be provided to potential participants so they will be able to give their informed consent? Is there a clear agreement in writing, the informed consent form, between the researcher and potential participants? The informed consent should also make it clear that the participant is free to withdraw from the experiment at any time. 5. Have I included adequate feedback information, including a debriefing if deception is used, to be given to the participants at the completion of the study? 6. Do I accept my fully responsibility for the ethical and safe treatment of all participants by myself and all research assistants? I hope you learned a lot in this lesson. See you next time, everyone.